9 of our daily Sefer HaMitzvos study. Today we're covering three mitzvahs. We're in the topic of killing, murder, inadvertent murder, and so that's generally what our mitzvahs are about right now. And first of all is positive commandment 225. And the commandment is from Numbers 35:25, which says, "And he shall live there until the death of the high priest," etc. And if you read it all in context, it talks about somebody who accidentally killed someone, and then they have the ability or the it's very important that they flee to a city of refuge, where they can, stand trial, and then, if it turns out that they're found that they weren't a intentional killer, then they will dwell there in the city of refuge until the death of the high priest, at which point they are released from the city of refuge. However, if they travel outside of the city of refuge, it is it's possible for a relative of the person who was killed to seek revenge. And so they would stay in that city, and they would be safe in that city. There's lots of really interesting details on this. One of the details is they didn't want you praying that the high priest would die so that you could get let out. So what the family of the high priest would do is they would bring food and supplies and things for these inadvertent killers, so that they would feel like they are getting something for not praying for the death of the high priest. Because the idea is that Hashem would hear their prayer, and perhaps then the high priest would die sooner, etc. So that is the first mitzvah that we're covering today, and the second is accepting a ransom from an inadvertent murderer. 35:32 of Numbers states, "You shall take no ransom for the one who must flee to his city of refuge." So it's forbidden to take a monetary payment to exempt them from exile. Exile is a mitzvah. It's a commandment for this person, and they must do so. All right. Then is finally negative commandment 292. Negative commitment 292 comes from Numbers 35, verse 12, where it says, "The murderer shall not die until he stands before the congregation in judgment." So this means that so there's this time where this person has committed a crime, but they haven't been judged yet. There were witnesses, etc., but they haven't stood before the court to argue, or not to so much argue their case, but for the judges to make their decision regarding that. And it is forbidden for this criminal to receive execution before they've gotten a due process before the court. And it may sound obvious, but it's a mitzvah because it might not be obvious. There might be people who are wanting to exact justice. So even if the high court witnesses the execution of a capital offense, they must serve as witnesses before a different panel of judges who would adjudicate the case. All right, so that is all of our mitzvahs for today. And tomorrow, with God's help, we'll be back for more Sefer HaMitzvos study. Obviously, tomorrow is Shabbat, so we're not going to be doing it on Shabbat. If I have the time and it's expedient, I will do a video tomorrow night after Shabbat, covering those. Otherwise, I will pick them back up on Sunday. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Shabbat shalom. Have a great day in every way. Bye bye.